morning, Stacy.
Hi.
And thanks for interviewing with Healthy Lifestyle Choices.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to talk about amazing women doing extraordinary things in the world. And I've worked with you in your classes, and I think that the work that you do is pretty amazing. And I would love for you to share some things with the world about your work and how you make a difference in the world. So, if I were to ask you some questions, what do you feel like you are called to do?
That's been a big question for me, and where I am with it today is, I think what I'm really called to do is to help people to identify where their growth is and then to really support them with that. I work energetically, I'm an intuitive energy worker, but I've always had that kind of thing that I do of zeroing in on kind of what's really going on with people, and having a pretty creative way, I think, of kind of getting people to work, where it becomes a little bit more playful, a little bit more fun, but it's zeroing in. It's really, I think I've done that all my life of like, look over here, first, and so I think that's really my my gift and what I'm really called to do, particularly right now with so many people having such big growth happening. It's like, look over here, let's get you right down into it, and then really helping people to figure out how to work with it and shift that energy and move on while they really learn some great tools of doing it. So it's kind of a focuser, I think that's a focuser.
Yeah. You help people to look at other areas and focus in, look over here. So it's kind of a outside of the box approach, and you have a lot of tools. When did you first discover that you were a healer?
I think probably if I look back, I could say, just as a kid, I was aware of things that I never really connected things. Like I think I was pretty intuitive and all of that. But when I started really saying, this is important to me, I want to follow up on it, I want to study it, I want to learn more, was just right out of college. Pretty much immediately out of college, and so my whole degree and everything kind of fell apart because I wanted to go down this other road, and just started taking classes and really exploring it, but realizing that it seemed to be somewhat very natural and kind of easy for me. And it just kind of worked right from the beginning. This intuitive energy, how I kind of was looking at things, and it's been that way ever since.
Right. So when you say intuitive, if you could share with people what that might feel like, or what that might be to you, and maybe helping people to find what intuition is, because I think oftentimes we find, at least for myself, I find sometimes, I hear that little voice, but then I kind of put it aside. What for you would you say is intuition, or how do you know intuition?
Yeah, I think everybody knows it differently, which is, intuition's a tricky thing. And for me, it's really about going in and listening in the way that works for you the best. And so many people right now are, I think, sometimes confused, particularly if they're just getting involved in this kind of energy work or healing work. There's a lot of how-to out there. There's a lot of ways for people to be thinking about how do you tap into your intuition. And so there's kind of some rules that people think that they need to follow. They think that they need to see something or hear something or be able to visualize something, and that's not always the way that they work. So for me, the best way to really tap into your intuition is to get quiet enough to go within and really listen and experience. It's really more about experiencing something, so that you might do that by just knowing something. You might do it by hearing something. You might really see something. You might kind of see in your mind's eye. You might just have a knowingness, and you may just use your intuitive imagination, because what that is still something that's coming from within. So for me, I think the best advice around intuition is to kind of let go of the how-to what it should look like, and just go in and experience in your own way. And when you do that, you probably will surprise yourself as to what starts to gel for you, what starts to come out, you know, whether you're writing it or you're talking about it later, you know, the what that information is.